This game is rated M for mature. Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Bayonetta. In the last episode, we started Chapter 10, and we should be able to finish it out in this episode. I'm glad that I ended the last episode when I did, because after stopping the recording, I noticed that a lot of frames were dropped, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to get around dealing with that, but hopefully now that I'm on a fresh recording I won't drop any more frames. But let's continue onwards, and we actually have something here. Now we have some new enemies. Now they look a lot like Grace and Glory, but they're actually classified as different enemies. So they are Gracious and Glorious, and I don't know why, but I think the game hasn't introduced them to us yet. For whatever reason. Now, they are much more dangerous than their counterparts, because you can see from, me dodging their attacks, you can't get witch time off them at all. Add to that I think they do more damage and are just more dangerous in general. And you have a very potent combination that, if you're not careful, can really do a number on your health bar. So just gotta be really careful when fighting these guys, because they are pretty difficult.
What happened to Mummy?
Well, you see, she just went to look for something, that's all. I can't believe that witch, placing a poor helpless child under her spell. If she did anything to this little girl's parents, I swear.
Mommy.
No need to cry. We'll get you to your mom in no time. Here, I've got some candy if you want.
What is this? It's yummy.
I don't know. It's candy. Strawberry, I think?
Hey, Kitty, I've got some yummies. Would you like some?
Is that cat your friend?
Yes, he is. His name is Cheshire. He's cute, isn't he?
Cheshire. What a stupid name. Well, so much for taking the highway. It just means we're gonna have to find something else. Now, all I have to figure out is what to do about you. So, Cerecita, that woman's really your mom?
Uh-huh. My mummy is strong, and she protects me from scary monsters.
Monsters? I don't think you know who the real monsters are. Huh?
So there's a brief little interlude with Luca and Cereza. What I want to point out about that is, have you ever seen a... Actually, I think we need to go forward first. Have you ever seen a lollipop with a stick that long? I certainly haven't. Especially since, when the actual candy part of it is so small. But I digress. Just dodge through those spikes. Pretty similar to what we've seen before. There is a Gates of Hell entrance here. Before we go into that, however, you can break down the wall behind it, and you can use the Panther Within to jump to this platform over here. And it has a chest on it with a broken witch heart. However, before opening the chest, well, first things first, we complete a full witch heart, which is nice. But, actually, I guess you don't have to fight them. So, there is an optional verse here with these statues, and it's another set of gracious and glorious. So, if you want to skip this one, I do not blame you in the slightest. Because, yeah, these guys aren't the funnest to deal with. So, the easiest way to tell them apart, of course, is that they don't have the same coloration as their counterparts. Another thing that makes them a little bit more difficult to deal with is the torture attack does not do as much damage to them as it does to Grace and Glory. So you'll need to actually do a little bit more damage to them yourself in order to take them out. So I would recommend using Shiraba for this because it does cut through their attacks much more easily than some other weapons do. So I definitely recommend that. Other than that, I mean, they do have some different attacks, but for the most part, I think their movesets are pretty similar to Grace and Glory. So the way that you fight them isn't too different. It's just you have to get used to not getting witch time at all. Which can be difficult, so did pretty well on that aside from damage. So let's go to the gates of hell, because we have enough to get another one of the moon pearls at the very least.
You here for business or pleasure? Either way, I'll hook you up.
There's just something about the atmosphere of this place that is just sublime. Okay, let's see, we want to go to items. Just the music, you know, the smooth jazz. Rodon's, you know, very deep voice. Just all culminates. So that's all I think we're gonna get from here for now. But we should be closing in on buying all of the moon pearls, I think. Might be the next one. That's the last one. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly how far you have to go in order to activate this, but I think once you get to the gates of hell area, should be far enough. So there's an Alfheim portal back at like the very beginning of where we landed. So it's a little while back. It was in the last episode at this point. So you have to, you know, run back across these vines, this area. So here's the portal. And this should be the last one for the verse. Not the verse. I always say the verse when I mean to say the chapter. So use angel arms. Okay. Let's see. One thing that I failed to show off in the last one is if you use the pole with your feet, has this really wide spinning attack that's very good against these decorations. So would definitely recommend that. So we got a Grace and a Glory here. The sword is pretty good in terms of it will cut through and it does quite a bit of damage. So let's pick up this guy. Not doing so hot. I think there's going to be another enemy after these two. Yep, there he is. Got one more hit on that. We're going to need to pick up something else now. I think this should be the last thing that we need. Or I could run out before I got the killing blow. So that was actually not too bad, all things considered. If you use the pike for that first wave, it makes it almost trivial. So yep, just took damage and that was it. Got another broken witch heart. So we're actually getting fairly close, I think, to having full health, which is very nice. So now I just have to make our way back to where we were. And luckily we don't have to deal with any more enemies along the way. If there's one thing that tells you that they knew that this was a harder chapter in general, is the abundance of health restoring items, which Bayonetta 2 is a lot better about having those kinds of items. Probably because they made the game a little bit easier in general, I think. But in this chapter alone, they have so many more of those than they do in the other chapters. So find that very telling in terms of how much healing or health they think you would need. So we have some beloveds here. I think it's a grand total of 3. Yep. I saw that attack, but I just did not react to dodge it. That should be the end of the other one. And there's going to be one, or actually, I guess 2 more enemies after this, which really ruined this verse for me. And those, as you could probably guess from what I've said about them, are inspired. I know, there's just something about this specific set that frustrates me in terms of, like, not being able to hit them. So yeah, see, I didn't hit the right timing to get the witch time off of that. So I think it came out of the water there. Or not. Up there it is. I dodged it, and I still managed to get hit because I was trying to attack it, and that time I didn't react. Ugh. So, like, this just drags on forever, and I can't... Where are you? There we go. Finally got, enough damage in. Okay, killed the first one, and we have another one to deal with. As soon as I figure out where it is. I actually did a lot of damage. I think these kind of gold variations of the enemies don't have as much health, or just take more damage, whichever way you want to interpret it. So there's one thing that's, you know, not as bad about them. It's that. Not getting the lock-ons that I need. So yeah, that took a while. I don't really want to see what the time for the verse is going to be. 3 minutes. Ooh. It's like much worse than the average tends to be. So, this portal here is actually the end of this chapter, believe it or not. So, just run forward, and that will be the end of the chapter. So, these chapters they're not too long, but they are a bit too long in order to, you know, or to cram into one episode. So, they kind of have to split them up, because otherwise they would have been too long. But have Angel attack here, but the next chapter is actually going to be another boss. So, you know, it's that time already, and the hint of this one was, well, I don't know if you want to call it a hint, but kind of the precursor to this one are the vines that we've been seeing while we've been in Paradiso. Because with Fortitudo, you know, there's basically all of Chapter 3, with everything being on fire, because, you know, its associated element is fire. And then, you know, with Temperantia, you had all the stormy skies, the wind, those gusts in the levels leading up to that fight. That is one of the things that I like about kind of the bosses in this game, is that they're not just there, you just run into them at a certain point. You actually do kind of encounter them and have to deal with them a little before you face them. Even if it isn't, you know, direct confrontation.
You really want to make a deal with the devil? Relax. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, so I have enough halos to buy one of these. And that is not the last one. So I feel like the next one that we get, like, it has to be the last one that we can buy from the shop here. But in the next episode, we will be taking on the cardinal virtue of justice. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Bayonetta. I've been redxparasite, signing out.